It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the two movies released on August 8th, 2008. You've already seen the last 1,000 episodes of Time About the Movies, so let's go ahead and begin the next 1,000. Let's start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Seth Rogen and James Franco starring in Pineapple Express.
I want to see them shoot. What? Did they follow you here? Let's get out of here. Get the snacks, food, for roll-ups. We are going to hunt these guys down. Dale, Saul, going to kill them all. Whoa, come on. No, I think we should stay. Why? Because I'm in the dumpster already. Thug life. Pineapple Express. Does yours smell weird? Smells like tapioca. Rated R.
That song is not in the movie. It was all over the advertisements, and it helped to, it helped to have that song become a blockbuster song in general, become a hit song in general. You hear that on the radio all the time. But no, that song is not in the movie, but this little banger is.
Brother, grab your chin on and get all your gear. It's not your fault. How did we get into this mess? Pineapple Express. Pineapple Express.
So yeah, two movies that came out in 2008, two comedies nonetheless, but two really damn good songs that nobody's ever heard of. Love Me Sexy, Will Ferrell for Semi-Pro, and Huey Lewis in the News doing the theme to Pineapple Express. But I digress. Pineapple Express, this centers around a process server played by Seth Rogen and his marijuana dealer played by James Franco, as they are forced to flee from hitmen and a corrupt police officer after witnessing them committing a murder. And this is directed by David Gordon Green, who, man, talk about a one-trick pony, because after this, his career took a gigantic nosedive. Your Highness, the Halloween movies, The Exorcist Believer. He's not made a good movie since then, and I don't know if it's the direction, because it's not really because of the direction, but yeah, this movie is a ton of fun, regardless of the director, because this is just a funny movie, man. Seth Rogen is great in here. James Franco's very funny. You got Gary Cole playing the drug dealer. Danny McBride coming off the Foot Fist Way, very good in this. He was also in another big movie that's coming up next time around here. We'll get to that one next week, but Rosie Perez, Amber Heard back when she was a kid, was an actress that we actually gained respect for, and not for just being loud and obnoxious during the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, or just pretending to act in the courtroom for that. But that's a whole other thing altogether. But this is a really funny movie, man. It's one that I don't think gets as much attention as stuff like The 40-Year-Old Virgin and Superbad, but it's still a really funny movie regardless. It's a very slick, silly, over-the-top action comedy that is so well put together. Rogen and Franco just have that great chemistry working off each other. And James Franco was just coming off of, the Spider-Man movies. Nobody really took him that seriously as a comedic actor, except the fact that he did Freaks and Geeks before those movies. And, of course, following this, he would eventually do other movies that were more comedy-based, like This Is the End. Was he in Your Highness, too, with Danny McBride? I thought he wasn't, but he was in Your Highness, which, yeah, that film, like I said, was not that great, but he was a pretty good dramatic and comedic actor, but unfortunately, he was part of the people that got caught in the Me Too movement, and his career kind of just went out the door, and he's now been relegated to mostly direct-to-video stuff because nobody will hire him anymore, which, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's just like, the guy was a good actor back in the day, just like Kevin Spacey was, even though Kevin Spacey's a nut job too, but I digress. The film overall is very funny. I mean, it's a very well put together action comedy. It's Judd Apatow doing what Judd Apatow does best. He's one of the writers on this and one of the producers. It's a real good movie, man. It's a real fun movie. Definitely one of the more underrated movies from this era where Judd Apatow was just the king of comedy, and anything he touched usually would turn to gold. This is definitely one of those films that definitely deserves much more attention than I think it gets. It's a very fun film, very fun soundtrack overall, just really, really good fun comedy all across the board. Pineapple Express, great film. So, with all that said, let's move on to the second film we have here, and that is The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2.
Interesting jeans, Lena.
Oh, yeah. It's a long story.
For as long as I could remember, the four of us shared everything. I believe that the Sisterhood could survive anything. But we had to learn on our own how to become ourselves without losing each other. Are you okay?
I just fell off a donkey.
The girls are back. Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera, Blake Lively, and Alexis Bledel.
As you can see, they've now essentially taken the Sex and the City Mamma Mia approach of, let's just go ahead and get these women together, and let's go and film this in an exotic location, and who cares about an actual plot in general. But the big differences between Sex and the City and Mamma Mia is that these movies are actually enjoyable, and they actually do serve a purpose, and they actually have people that you do want to see get together and hang around and be and have lives that are very interesting and all, but still does not make any sense how this single pair of pants essentially fits all these girls, but that's beside the point here. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. Essentially, the story is you got all four girls back from the first movie. They're college freshmen now. They're best friends, finding that it may take more than a shared pair of genes to help stay in touch as their lives go in different directions. I mean, one of them goes to Vermont. The other goes to Turkey. The other one goes to, I think, Spain, I think it is, or something like that. It looks like the same place they shot Mamma Mia, but they go to all these different places all across the globe, and yeah, the imagination in here is a little much, but kind of like with the first movie, it's a film that probably should not work, but because the actors that they have in here are so well put together in here, and they actually work off each other, and you believe them as friends, it does kind of work. It's a slightly entertaining movie, and much more than I expected from these films. I mean, honestly, these movies obviously are not made for somebody like me. Like, these are movies made for teenage girls. You know, they're made for the Pretty Little Liars audience, but because they have very talented actresses who can make this material work, Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera, Blake Lively, and Alexis Bledel, not to mention a good director in Sanaa Hamri, who did Something New before this, which was actually kind of a decent movie overall, and she would later go on to do Just Right after this. And she does a very good job of handling this film overall. Like I said, this doesn't have the Sex and the City thing of, you know, let's just have a random story, let's put these people in elaborate places and give them basically bad Adam Sandler humor to get the comedy out of here. Or Mamma Mia, where the characters are so obnoxious and annoying and won't stop screaming at one another, where it gets on your goddamn nerves pretty quickly. None of that is in this movie. It feels very realistic. It feels very much like a film where they actually do evolve the characters around. It kind of reminded me a little bit of My Girl 2. Even though that one was not as good as the original My Girl, it does at least try to advance the story a little bit more by giving these characters, you know, bigger problems as they get older. And again, it works because the characters are working off each other very well. They have a lot of really good actors who can make this material work, a lot of good people in the cast overall. Not everything about it works. There are obvious moments where, you know, it's there to titillate the teen girls that are watching this movie in general, but it's a decent film. It's a film where I would say it's not my cup of tea, but these movies are actually not that bad overall. I mean, they're very entertaining. They got a lot of very good talent all across the board to make it work. It's a good movie. It's a good movie for teenage girls. For someone like me, I probably won't watch it again, but I'm glad I saw it again. Just like I saw with the first movie. I mean, they're perfectly serviceable films, and they're not offensive to women in general. It doesn't give these women a bad name by having a movie like this come out, and it's a good movie. It's one where I'd say, like I said, a one-time watch. I think it's perfectly fine for someone like me who, obviously, this is not made for. It's good for a one-time watch, but I think most teenage girls are going to enjoy this, and yeah, it's a decent movie overall. So that's my thoughts on Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. Take that for what you will. But with all that said, that's going to wrap this episode of Time About the Movies up. Next time, we've got 6 movies to look at in the middle of August, including Ben Stiller's entertaining war satire, Tropic Thunder, with him and Robert Downey Jr. in a role that is very, very much something that probably could never be done today. Jack Black is also in it, Jay Baruchel, Tom Cruise, Matthew McConaughey, and many, many others. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, what was then described to be the future of Star Wars, and yeah, it's anything but that. And finally, the end of 20th Century Fox's epic summer, which includes Keith Sutherland in Mirrors, Woody Allen's latest film, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, Another CG animated movie that you probably never heard of, and maybe that's a good thing, Fly Me to the Moon 3D. And also, Henry Poole is here. So 6 films overall to look at next time. We'll take a look at them all on tomorrow's show, so be on the lookout for that. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification button, and the bell. That's when you get updates on when new videos come out, and we do post new videos here every day. So with all that said, I'm off. I'll see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.